singing?
Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars.
I'll mouth along because I know how that all works. Hey, everybody! Do we have a tale for you?
It looks like a tentacle from my view.
I mean, you're not.
It looked like a tentacle the way you're holding it.
It's not a tentacle.
It's not a tentacle. We're not doing mind flayers. It's not mind flare. It's not a mind flayer.
No, it's not.
You see some of them with mind flayers in a certain game.
It's a Dargan!
It's a Dargan! Da, da, da. Hi, everyone. It's Friday. It means it's time for another Paint and Slay. I'm Vee. Above me is Lauren. And today, and for this whole entire summer, we're going to be working on the WizKids Adult Silver Dragon, which is obviously all primed and ready to go. But this is something that has been waiting in the wings.
Literally.
And figuratively for a while. But it's finally time to break this bad boy out because you'll notice this summer that there are going to be some Fridays where we will not be having Paint and Slay because for various reasons, Lauren and or I will not be available. So this has become a lovely homework. You know how like with school, you have like your summer reading. This is your summer painting. We're giving you summer painting assignments this summer. So we're going to get started on the Silver Dragon today. And then when we get to the end of the episode, I'm going to tell you what steps to complete before we pick back up for the next episode of Paint and Slay, which will not be next Friday, but it'll be the 12th instead because, holiday weekend next week for Lauren and I. But this is basically what's going on with this dragon and why we decided to break out this big baddie. Because it's one of those things where it definitely is going to be a miniature that we will need the whole summer to take care of as a result, and better to use it when we have episodes here and there to take care of and then do the homework in between, as opposed to trying to crank this fellow out in about 3 months.
Yeah, we're basically taking advantage of the fact that for a couple of weeks we're going to be here and gone and here and gone and here and gone and here and gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I am also grabbing the questions for today in chat. So if you see me more often, that's just me multitasking.
Ding! But yeah, before we get into all of the painting stuff, what do we want to start with first here? Should we talk about the fact it's the weekend? Are we ready for the weekend?
Here we go. I don't know if I'm ready for the weekend, but let's do this. Speaking of whoopsie tentacles, so it's the Ceramorphosis, or the Ceramorphosis weekend, however you want to pronounce it. If you want the Baldur's Gateway, it's the Ceramorphosis. It is the Ceramorphosis weekend in where all these wonderful champions are getting a little bit of a buff. So that way you can get a whole bunch of the new Vecna stuff done, because we just put a couple more Vecna adventures out for everybody, or some of your other tasks. Mm-hmm. And then if you've signed up for a newsletter, you should be receiving sometime in the next couple of hours the free gold Ceramorphosis chest with the angry mind flayer. Are mind flayers ever happy?
I have yet to see a happy mind flayer.
Okay, because those eyes are definitely that's Arngi mind flayer.
Arngi.
Yeah. So if you've signed up for a newsletter, you should be getting that gold chest, or that newsletter with that code for the gold chest. If you're not, go ahead in the game and you can sign up through the menu, and we promise that we only send one a week, and it always comes with something fun. And when you do sign up for the newsletter, you'll get immediately a confirmation email that includes a link to unlock Hitch. So, yay, free stuff.
Yay.
So yeah, and this will be more, like, anyone needs more excuses to have Karlach in their formation.
Love it. Okay, so
Karlach is bae.
Along with that, just recently announced, literally yesterday and today.
Hey! So both of our new champions have been announced coming up for Founders Day next week. We've got Aeon and Umberto. Umberto, basically both got announced on Monday when we started putting out awesome story bits about the two of them. But now, for those of you who are looking for the more standard stuff, the video and the blog are live for both of them. So you can go and read all of the wonderful details about Aeon, the spy master, and Umberto, the investigator, who are going to be the new champions coming to Founders Day on Wednesday. So go check them
Yes.
out. We're real excited because this isn't just the first time that we've had 2 new champions when it's come to Event 2.0, but we got to work with some amazing creators. Umberto over there was created by Gail Simone, who you might know as like one of the awesome people who writes probably your favorite comics,
Yeah.
probably, especially if it's X-Men related,
Mm-hmm.
because she's amazing. So yeah, she helped us create Umberto. And Aeon, I don't know if you know this guy, B. Dave Walters. He's
Heard of
done
him.
a few things with us a couple of
Just,
times. What Idle Champions people might not know, because they probably know him as the person behind Freely and the person who DMs all of the Idle Champions Presents stuff.
Yeah.
He is a professional writer. And so we got 2 professional writers to come and create characters for us. And then Trevor took those characters and those awesome information that they gave and wrote a little story that you can read. And then Luke McKay, a famed comic creator and artist extraordinaire, and no, I am not at all biased, made comics for all 3 of them. So you can read serious story, you can check out funny comics, and you can see all of that fun stuff. It's available on our blog and our YouTube and all of the places. I'll put a link in the chat for
There we
all
go.
the places, socials. There we go. So go and enjoy all of that funness before you get a chance to unlock them on Wednesday.
Absolutely. And I'm making the comics go by fast because I want you to go and check out those stories where you can take your time and look at the comics, because that's the teacher in me.
Yeah, because there's lots of art, and Luke always puts like
really cool.
fun
Yeah.
little Easter eggs in there.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
it's
surprised if
grand.
there's a squirrel somewhere. He always adds
Squirrel.
squirrels. Yeah.
Oh, shocker. Okay, so let's delve into the dragon. Oh yes.
Let's dive into the dragon. I just want to double check. So the website, if you go to codenameentertainment.com, or if you go to our website, that's where you can read the blogs. That's where you can also read the stories that came out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So you might have to go like see a bunch of those.
Actually, hold on.
The blogs have embedded into them the short videos, the spotlight videos, or you can go to our YouTube, which is the Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms YouTube,
or go to that literally right there has everything you're talking about.
Or yeah, go do that. And does that have the comics as well?
Mm-hmm. It has everything.
Excellent.
Everything.
I was like, I think I couldn't remember if the comics were there as well, if I needed to send people to the social media. But I will say, if you do like the comics, or if you like any of that stuff, go to our social media and let us know. Or come to our Discord, discord.gg/idlechampions. I will now drink. There we go. I'm done.
Yay. Okay. So don't laugh. I keep trying to use my water as my mouse, because normally my mouse sits here, but because I've had to spread the things out on the desk.
Yeah.
If you see me doing this, I'm not stirring my water. I'm trying to move something, and it's not my mouse. So before we delve into the jargon itself, I just always like to break out the bases as references for scale on these critters. So this is the flight base for the dragon. And this here, this frosted bit here, this is how WizKids shows you the size of the creature. So this is technically based on the circle, a huge creature a la D&D classification. So we have huge, we have large, we have medium, which is most humanoids, and then we have small. So you can see we really are dealing with a big one right now. And
It's big, it's chunky.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be doing the homework assignments in between. So today, the name of the game is to start getting base colors on to certain sections of the body. And then at the end of today's episode, I will tell you what sections of the body to complete based on the progress we make today. Before we get into painting, do I want to glue the tail? Because I'm kind of liking being able to point with it for emphasis. I'm kidding.
It's totally up to you. I think if we're okay either way, I'm okay with keeping it, putting it on or taking it off, whiwhichever way. I mean,
it's honestly, I like it better when it gets glued into place, because the paint can chip away from the meeting point so easily when you're doing this back and forth.
Oh.
It's better if you want to keep it looking nice and pulled together, you can. Now, I am going to say there are a couple before you start painting, not warnings, but FYIs. So this tail is supposed to lock into its socket as sort of a lock and key thing. However, my tail because of how they put the primer onto these minis, it filled in the joint piece a little too much, so my tail was not fitting in. If you
Aw.
find you have that issue, all you need to do right through here, okay? All I had to do was literally just file top and bottom sections here. You don't want to file where there's this little catch on either side because you'll lose that. That's kind of an important piece. So file away top and bottom, and it should slide back into place if you find you have an issue with fit. Then the other thing I want to warn about this lovely silver dragon is it pointy. Okay.
It very, very pointy.
It very pointy. It has claws. These talons especially can poke you. Handle with care when you go to like put the tail into place. When you go to paint this, just be ready that there are going to be some sharper points. If you want to, you can opt to go in with a nail file and dull, or a file itself, and sort of dull where the spikier bits are. That is completely your call, but I like to just warn people ahead of a time. The Dargan bites. So I'm just going to go in right now and glue this. Yeah, it's the slay part of paint and slay. You know, you gotta be careful that you're not being slayed by the dragon that you're about to paint. So, oh gosh, I need.
Well, and I had to. You saw me ducking down. It's because I have a fair bit of auxiliary stuff in a chair or on the floor next to me, like the actual super glue, which I knew we were only going to need like once.
Yeah,
because it's just the tail. Oh, hi, Dan Dillon. Silver dragons have the best helm plume. And hi, Urban Bohemian. Look at that large dragon child.
I mean, he's gonna be my baby. I am the mother of dragons. There's so many dragons in my house. It's ridiculous. I think I have 35 dragons-ish in my house.
You beat me by about 30.
Yeah. All right. So I am inserting the tail. Yeah, I put super glue on ahead of time, and I'm putting slight pressure. And ta-da! Now it is one piece. And then we're going to put the flight deck on, or the flight stand on at the end. This also, talon, is a lock and key piece. You can see there's this, it's not just a straight up hole. There's like this little ledge inside. That's because you can see on the flight stand, there's that little notch cut out. So when you put this on, you want to make sure it locks into place like a puzzle piece. And I'm not going to push too hard. But once you get it on there, ta-da-da-da. Display purposes, I did the warning. I did warn. Display purpose-wise.
No, actually, this is the super glue. I went to go put the little thing back into the super glue, and there was enough on the sides that it decided that it wanted to come with some of my skin. So, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you talking about the lock and key of the stand.
Yeah, so it's one of those things. If you want to, for display purposes, you can pop this in and keep it up in flight. If you want to stow it away safely in something like maybe a box or a drawer, you can take it out and make it easier to store. And it's kind of the same thing with the tail. If you don't want to attach the tail, you don't have to. Personal preference, I like to glue the tails on so they're not flopping around, sounds so wrong, but kind of flopping around on their own when they're not together. With that said, we're going to tap into our paints now. And the first thing we're going to start off with is Scarlet Red in the mouth. That sounds like Clue. Right. Scarlet Red with a mouth.
with a tail.
With a tail.
Okay.
Oh, God. All right.
Yeah, the funny thing about this being that I took pictures for socials and I had not attached the tail because I was unsure about how difficult that was going to be and everything. So I'm like, it'll just be funny to show off the Dargan without the tail. It'll and now I'll get to show it off with all the tails.
All the tails. Tail is
I also pulled out
time.
I know, right? I also pulled out all of my largest brushes.
Yes.
Because
they're actually a decent
chance. There's a chance if I use the chunky ones.
I like how Kira just came out a little bit.
Yeah. Sometimes I get very excited. Yeah, or Kira joins me. I mean, she lives in the back of my head, so it happens. Although that being said, now that I've looked at the mouth, I might actually grab a slightly smaller brush.
Slightly smaller one.
Like a 1 instead of a 4.
Yeah, I'm working with a 1 right now. Okay, so I'm going to recommend that tail that we just glued on, using it for a prop. So you're not keeping the chunk of the weight of this beauty on your
Mm-hmm.
hand because the frill is going to bite into your
Mm-hmm.
skin otherwise.
Also, I do appreciate, first off, I appreciate McTribble with dragon has a danger clause in the instructions.
Perfect.
Yes, absolutely. And then Urban Bohemian with the sadly with a silver dragon, it's not the flames, flames on the side of my face. Just ice.
I love that. I love that.
Any
Oh, thank you for
excuse,
that. Thank
any
you for that
excuse to
call to
clue.
Clue. That's a
Yeah.
good movie. Come on.
Oh, and we have from King of Thieves, for those who are hanging out in chat, our first, who should I pick for my
Ooh.
weekend um
Time gate.
oh geez. Timegate, thank you. Wow, words.
Welcome.
They would like to know Egbert, Rosie, or Sergeant Knox. Ooh.
Ooh. Dang it, I like them all.
Yeah. While you think about that, let me just double check. So we're doing the entire inside of the mouth?
Yep,
Or
the whole
okay.
mouth. And if you get on the teeth, that's going to be okay because we'll get to the teeth later.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to pick up those little... Look at those divots in my finger right now.
Yeah. I mean, we had the same thing with the green dragon. We had the same thing with the
We
Remoraz.
did.
This is just taking that up an extra notch.
Yes,
But
because there's
yeah.
different body parts that all have a little bit of a thing on it.
Yeah. So anyway, you were about to say, what would you suggest for one of those three for the time gate?
I kind of want to say Sergeant Knox.
Kind of do too. I will say, um,
They're all
all three are
fun.
good. Yeah, I think Sergeant Knox, you're probably gonna get the most use out of right away
Yeah,
because they are, um, like Egbert and Rosie are both tied to affiliations, and while they are
exactly. Yeah.
both really cool, and I do highly recommend getting both those affiliations, Sergeant Knox for newer players, if you're looking to unlock stuff, is going to be more useful right away. So that would be my suggestion.
Yeah.
But
More.
if you are new to our fun little game, um, there is no wrong answer. So whoever you unlock is great. And also, eventually you're going to want to get them all.
Mm-hmm.
Put way
Pokemon.
too much red down.
That's okay. That's all right. Okay, so that takes care of the mouth for now. And we're going to want that to dry. And then, like I said, since we have homework stuff, I'm trying to get all the mixing stuff taken care of while we're live. So that way
Yeah.
when the homework comes up, it's just standard paint colors. You don't have to worry about mixing. So once you're done with that, we're going to need to grab bone white and pale gray blue. The pale gray blue is definitely from that special list that I pulled together on my Amazon affiliate, which, by the way, that was just so you could see all the product and everything in a nice convenient spot and take it to whatever shops you wanted to use to go shopping. You're not obligated to use that link, but pale gray blue is one of our new colors coming in. We have used bone white in the past, and it is also in the D&D prismatic paints should you have that set. But what we're going to do is mix a lovely lighter bluish tone.
Pale gray blue. There you are. Oh, and I gotta grab bone white.
Yep, and this is going to go on the fins, which is this, and the horns, and the little flappy cheeky bits, and also back here on the arms there are fins there. Okay, so
how much to how much?
I am doing equal parts
Okay.
to keep it simple.
I
And
like
you are going to want to mix a larger portion than you're used to mixing.
Yeah.
Where's my pale? So here is, this is pale gray blue. And this is from the model color line of Vallejo paints.
Now is actually a good time before I start mixing. So for those of you who are wondering, because usually we have kind of a set paint grouping that we use. Obviously, this bigger Dargan requires a bit of a bigger investment. For those that would like to join us, especially since we'll be here and gone and here and gone and here and gone, so you have time to catch up, I've posted in the chat a Amazon wishlist link. This same link is if you go to our Discord, discord.gg/idlechampions, and go to the Paint and Slay channel. You can find it there. Now, it's an Amazon wish list link simply for convenience sake to get everything all in one place. We do always suggest that you go to your friendly local game store and sorry, I realized I had put the
okay.
gray down and now I can't remember where I put it. Pale gray blue. There we go.
Yeah.
Where did my pale gray blue go?
What happened?
We always recommend you patronize your friendly local game store. This way you can kind of open up that webpage on your phone and then show it to them, and hopefully they can get everything for you or order it. And if you have to order some stuff online, then it's also a little easier to grab. So that is the full explanation for why it is a link to Amazon. But please go patronize your friendly local game store.
Yeah, I will say the folk art paints will not be at a local game store. That will be at your local craft store.
Ah, see, there you go.
Yeah. Okay, so let me swatch the color for you.
Okay, I think I need to add a little more. Actually, I think I might be okay.
Okay, cool.
Let me grab. I think it's showing up slightly differently on the plate than it is. I guess I'll grab you.
And I've definitely jumped into using a larger brush because I can feed this up and pull back on the fin, running along the back.
Now, I think I got close to what I'm seeing on your swatch as I'm putting it on the Dargan. It's pretty
Is it looking
close.
beige?
It's looking actually pretty close to.
It's not going to be a drastic change from the primer. It's not going to be a huge drastic change from the primer. The primer itself is sort of this neutralish gray as well.
Okay, then I'm in the right color scheme. Okay.
You are about where you need it to be.
I just wanted to make sure because as I was starting to put it on, I'm like,
no, totally fair.
Second.
Totally
Hold
fair.
on just a minute.
Wait a cotton pick a minute.
Why?
I probably should say that.
Okay.
All right.
So yes, now begins the we're starting to do this part of the dragon. 25 minutes later. Where's the SpongeBob meme when you need it?
Yeah. But it's helpful if you go in and you apply this with the starting at the base of the fin and pulling the paint up and back and keeping the strokes with the texture of these fins, the striation. Because if you go across this way right now, that paint is going to load up into the texture of this fin and collect, and it's going to get very globby and goopy. So in this case, you want to go with the flow of the texture because we're not dry brushing. We're applying the paint itself to get the base color on. And you don't want that to fill things up and negate the grooves and the texture that's been created in the sculpt of this. So that's why you want to go with the grain of the texture, not against it. That will change when we go into other details on this.
It also just feels good.
Yeah, it does.
This just feels right. Oh, that wing is very close to my mouth in this. Yeah. Okay. All right. Not eating the wings.
There's buffalo wings and then there's Dargan wings.
No. Nope.
Although, quite frankly, I am of the camp where it's like, yeah, I couldn't eat a dragon. It's not. Nope. They can turn into humanoid-looking creatures. Nope.
Yeah, if I honestly hadn't thought about it until Orkira, speaking of my Dragonborn cleric baby. And she was the first time that I had to consider the idea of consuming any creature in D&D. And then it was very, very much this creature has intelligence, and so no. That is not for food.
Yep.
And then I played a druid. And then very quickly, Neb from Children of Erte. especially since she's a druid in the old school sense of she only turns into creatures that she's been able to learn enough about that she can.
Mm-hmm.
That Children of Verte was all about a bunch of normal humans learning that they were magical creatures, essentially.
Right.
And so by the time she figured out how to do druid things in wild shape, she also had discovered Goodberry and how to do Goodberry. And so she's pretty much she's she is what would you call someone who only eats good berries? Because she also spoke to plants as
A
well
good
as
Barian?
animals. Yeah, so she's not even a vegetarian or a vegan. Like
Yeah, good
she'd pro
Barian.
she,
A good
yeah, I
Barian.
guess. She'd probably drink like milk or, have
Yeah.
eggs or maybe eggs. I don't know. I I don't know, but she was notorious for speaking to anything and everything, and so very quickly developed a whole list of, well, I can't eat that. I talked with it.
Right.
I can't
I
eat
don't.
that.
I love it.
She's talked with
We had
trees.
heart to hearts, but it's not possible. Yep.
Exactly. It's like
That's
I
so
can't eat
sweet, though.
this. So yeah, I
That is
believe
sweet.
Neb is out there living her best uh kobold life, only eating good berries.
Love it. Too sweet. Too sweet.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think I'll continue on the frill and go
Yeah, I'm getting
other
the
side.
center back down done first, and then I'll focus on the auxiliary frills.
Yeah, I started at the tail and I did one
Mm-hmm.
side, and so now I think I'll
Yeah,
swap sides and get the other before I move on
exactly.
to a different body part. Do, do, do.
You will need to make sure when you go across the top of this ridge, take your brush and poke at the top of the frill because there is like this up and down texture bit going on too, making it a
Yeah.
little bit trickier to get to all the little nooks and crannies. So heads up on this one. Aw, it's kind of hugging my hand and it hurts.
So like a cat.
You know, not wrong.
Yeah. Like this is
Very
sweet and
Rory.
also ow, and then also sweet and
That
then
that
also
that's
ow.
Rory in a description. Very sweet, but
Yeah.
also ow.
Yeah, Dan Dillon, I agree. I'm very not down with eating any sapient creatures. That's too
Yeah.
overlapping with cannibalism. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, yep, yep.
Dan, didn't we have that conversation in the game we played in a couple years back when we took care of Arviatris? I think
While
we
we
actually
wait,
had that conversation.
while we wait for him to respond, what with the Twitch delay and everything, I will say,
Mm,
I am, however, totally okay with harvesting for stuff. So like kill a dragon,
right.
no eating the dragon, but like
Right.
grabbing the scales to make armor,
That's
grabbing
just
the
it. That's
claws.
exactly what we got into because it was yep, Dan remembers it. That's exactly it. It was taking the scales and stuff, but then there were kobolds around our party and they were the ones who ended up smorgasbording it and we're like, we're good.
Mm,
Um
yeah.
I thought we had that conversation in the game. Thank you for confirming my memories.
Yeah, Orkira ended up in a fight with a red dragon when she was hanging out with the BFGs on D4, and there was the moment of harvesting from that
Mm-hmm.
dragon afterwards.
Right.
And there were, while we were all okay with, all right, we're gonna do scales and claws and turn them into stuff.
Right.
Something about this, we talked with this thing. I'm not eating it.
Yeah.
For that, that's a little too close to cannibalism. There
Yeah.
were a couple of us. Harold and I took a siesta outside and had a little
There you
chat.
go. There you go.
Because yeah, it was that is one of those weird fantasy things. I'm not even gonna say D&D. It's just
No, it's a
fantasy in
fantasy.
general,
Yeah.
where I'm not gonna make a big stink about it, but it's a weird moral quandary,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's like when people were joking around at one point, I don't know where I was seeing it, but someone was joking around about yummy owlbear steaks, and my heart's just like, I don't think I could do owlbears. I
I
don't
could
think I
do
could
owlbear.
because
They're
like
not sentient. I could
I
be a
know,
owlbear.
but it's like I've seen too many owlbears become like a really cute companion to other players'
That's true.
characters. So I think owlbears, because of that, I'm like, I don't think I
Yeah.
could. I don't think I could go there.
And I think that in general, like I don't blame you for the no.
Yeah.
For any reason why people in the real
Oh,
world would decide not to eat a creature. Like
yeah.
I think there's nothing wrong with it. And certainly in D&D, none of my characters are ever going to be
Right.
it,
Okay.
it's in a fantasy game, it's not important enough to go down that weird rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Uh but I could
Agreed.
totally see no, I can't do an owlbear because I played Baldur's Gate 3 and
Mm-hmm.
owlbear
Baby.
companion.
Right? Or, watch
Yeah.
Critical Role and, Trinket and things like that. So
Yeah.
this is actually showing now that this paint is drying. This is the great thing about grays. They look one color when you apply and they dry differently. You can see now that it's taking on this bluish hue. Okay, so it's
Yeah.
not going to be as close to the primer color, um, once it starts drying. So just a heads up, if you're like, but mine looks more blue now, that's supposed to happen. Okay, that's a thing. All right, so I have the main frill done. Now I'm going to work on the ones around the face, and I'm also going to do the horns. And when I say the horns, what I'm doing here, just for frame of reference,
Yeah.
for the horns, you see there are these notches along the horns. I'm starting this basically at 1, 2, 3. The third segment in from the tip of the horn is where I'm going to start putting this color.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, and start putting the paint there.
All right. I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There also just is, and maybe it's just on my sculpt, the subtlest of texture differences between the horns
There,
and where
yeah.
that over the eye plate is that helps
Yeah.
define that.
I just want to make sure it's clear for people who are watching at home and don't have the advantage of seeing it
Oh yeah.
as up close and personal. So I'm going to start this color there. Because I can, and I will.
Okay. Yay, horns.
Do 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 do.
Yeah, silver dragons are way more about those frills than those horns.
They are. They almost have like an aquatic-esque influence
A little
to their
bit, yeah.
lines. I mean, how cool would that be? A silver dragon coming out of a silvery ocean?
Ooh, yeah.
That would be a gorgeous sight to see.
I'm definitely excited to see some of the new art of the
Oh,
dragons.
God, right?
Like
Like
I
just the
appreciate
teasers.
oh, yeah. Like I appreciate that they're putting even more effort into making each dragon type look very, very different from each
Unique,
other.
yeah.
Like that's super
Yeah.
cool. And just
It's
seeing all the
beautiful
different
work.
influences.
Like the gold one that was showcased a couple weeks ago as a preview.
Oh yeah, for the cover, the alternate cover.
Oh, pity.
Yeah,
So
very
pity,
cool.
pity.
And this is also going to include the frills on the side
Yep.
of the head
Yep.
and the chin.
So it's going to be the frills that run along the side here, but you can see there's a little bit where the jaw is still evident. So I'm not painting the lower jaw. I'm just painting where those frills are showing. So like, I'll show you right now as best I can. Basically, I'm putting just under here
Okay.
and pulling it down for the frill around the lower jaw.
That's about where I was thinking too. So I'm glad I'm on the same page.
Ooh.
Ooh, did we just see Fools?
Ooh,
Yeah,
yes.
Fool Loop says, now we want to see an art of a silver dragon
Ooh.
emerging from behind a mercury waterfall. That was more difficult to say than I was expecting.
It's an unexpected tongue twister, yeah. But that's a neat visual too. Ooh, I like that idea.
Quick, someone grab that.
Right? Quick, quick. Save the idea, save the idea. How best to handle you.
Yeah, I know, right?
Now I feel like I'm playing a trumpet because I'm holding this thing right now. Look.
Yeah. Very, very shawm. Very, very
Uh-huh.
much. I'm gonna hold a wing. I'm gonna be a wing and a prayer here. Try to get
The halfway there. Whoa! Painting wings with
holding on a wing.
prayers.
No, wait, hold on.
Yeah, I'm
All
going to
right,
be
so
hearing that
now that
song
it's
blasting next weekend.
oh yeah, I'm sure.
It's I swear to God, it's more than the national anthem in New Jersey. They play Bon Jovi. Like everyone's doing their cookouts and their barbecues, and like you'll hear everything Bon Jovi all at
Everything.
once.
That could be the name of the mixtape. Everything Bon
Everything.
Jovi.
Everything Bon Jovi, right?
So now that I've been painting for 30 minutes and really kind
Mm-hmm.
of given this setup a go,
Mm-hmm.
there are a couple things I'm very happy with that I've done, and there are a couple things I think I got to change for the next time.
That's
So
probably gonna be the way of the painting,
yeah,
to be honest.
I thought I had given. So the good thing is I've definitely got enough space,
Mm-hmm.
and the light works real well for where I've put it, so I can see pretty well, and I'm not having to like twist and turn in weird ways.
Good.
That being said, the wingspan is a bit larger than I was anticipating, and I'm having to be aware of where it's poking in ways
Yes. It's a
yeah,
thing. It's literally a thing.
that I thought I had accounted for, but I did not account enough for. So that will be for the next time we get together. I
Yeah.
will hopefully have that problem fixed. By the time
Yeah,
we're
I
done with the
was
dragon, I will have the perfect setup for painting dragons.
yeah, when I took that time on Tuesday to be like, okay, I need to figure out how I am going to do this.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I said, like, let me first start off with how I normally set things up, which I did. And there was no way. There was no way
Yeah.
this dragon was going to fit in any way, shape, or form. So I'm trying to think, well, do I pull up like a separate little table and paint from the little table and just bring the microphone forward? And I was like, that is going to make it very tricky to control things production wise. If I weren't the one producing, different story.
Yeah.
Um, and then I was like, well, I'm looking at my monitor setup. I'm like, well, if this monitor isn't sitting in the center of my desk anymore, it deepens the availability I have because I normally have a monitor about here-ish with a shelf.
Yeah.
If I take that shelf away, that turns this more into a table-like deal as opposed to a desk-like situation. So I had to resituate my monitors.
Yeah.
So it's been fun getting used to doing that. I'm like, oh, okay, where are things again?
Yep.
Yep.
I did not have to resituate my monitors, but I'm lucky in where my setup is on a sit stand desk. So what I was able to do
Yeah.
is this height that my desk is at is actually a
Mm-hmm.
unique height specifically for painting the dragon.
There we go.
So first, Goochillin, thank you for the sub. That's very
Yay!
kind. Enjoy your emotes. And then Sergeant Man wants to know, question, do you do anything special to cover the tail joint?
If you want to cover up the tail joint, you absolutely can. Quite frankly, you have a couple options. You could try and go in and do some milliput clay sculpt and work it into the joints and fill that in and take care of that gap. The other thing you can do is sprinkle a little baking soda into the joint once you've put some super glue in there, and that will fill it in too. It's a fun and easy and cheap cheat you can do, or you can also do green stuff if you want to. Quite frankly, because of how textured this tail is, I'm not worrying about that, and I'm hoping that the paint, once we put that in, I'm going to purposely layer it in a little bit more thickly than I would and just have the paint kind of act as a filler.
Well, and to be honest, looking at your joint versus mine, I think mine fit pretty darn perfectly. It's going to be
Yeah.
harder to see on this camera, but
Yeah.
like I can see where the joint is on yours
Right there.
from here.
Yep.
I had to take a second and look on mine. Like it fit
Yeah,
together real nice.
it's gonna vary mini to mini, so it's kind of
Yeah.
painter's choice as to how you want to handle it.
But considering how well mine worked, I'd say give it a try before
Yeah.
you see how it looks and really give it a good shove it in there real good and make sure it's locked in there real tight. There, I had to say it. I didn't know how else to say it.
You did. You
And then
did.
take a look. But because on mine, like there's
It
nothing
could be
that's needed.
negligible.
The
Yeah.
of a normal bit of paint is gonna
Yeah,
easily cover
I
that.
think the paint is going to be what fixes it, because really what's registering right now is that's basically where the clear is kicking in, because mine won't go quite as tightly in.
Yeah,
So it's creating this weird shadow effect. So I'm hoping the paint, once it layers up, will take care of that.
probably.
Do.
Okay, so I've got the spine down the back, the frills, and the horns. What was the other thing?
We have frills at the back of the forearms
Oh yeah.
right here, which I was holding off on doing those last because of how many different ways we have to hold this thing.
Yeah, that
So I'm
makes sense.
thinking grabbing a wing and then painting a frill is going to be our best approach.
Yep, that's what I've settled on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sergeant Man says, good tip. I think the joint looks really good without doing anything. Yeah, and like V said, it's mini to mini, and
Yeah.
not just the kind of mini, but literally, like I said,
What
mine.
mini you get. Yeah.
Yeah, what mini you get of the same type. So definitely give it a try first. And that being said, the baking soda and super
Super
glue
glue?
trick is real easy.
It's reliable.
It's very reliable, and it's not something that, as someone who is still learning how to do this, it's not easy to
And
mess up. Like
yeah,
it's
it's not
pretty
intimidating.
exactly. You're not going to ruin anything unless you decide to just dump all over your mini.
Yeah.
Unless you do something real ridiculous, you're going to be fine. So
Right?
you've got options.
Okay, so that takes care of, she says as she does a quick check around, that takes care of the frill work.
And I'm finishing the last frill now on the leg.
Pulling my lights away so it shows a little bit more.
Switch which wing I'm holding.
Which wing? Fly away. Yeah, so okay, cool. That's a nice light bluish silver that I wanted. Set you on your side for a moment. And then let's see what we want to tackle next, because yep, that took us 45 minutes.
I mean, it's big jargon.
It is.
I am so excited that we're doing this though.
I know.
This dragon specifically we've had for almost a year
Yeah.
waiting for the opportune time. And then we have talked about doing a larger mini in general since episode
Yeah,
1.
we
And
have.
so this summer has become perfect for it. And I'm very excited.
Yes,
And I'm
definitely.
just
Okay,
going to
so we're
keep
gonna go
holding it for now.
holding it. So we're actually gonna go back to the mouth. We're going to take the scarlet red, and add in some ghost gray to create a lighter pinkish tone, and we're gonna dry brush that inside of the mouth, really to enhance the texture of the tongue and everything like that. But that's another
Okay.
color we want to be mixing, which is why I want to do it now. Oh no! I dropped a paint bottle.
You okay?
Yeah, I just dropped a paint bottle. It was capped and everything. It's just I have to
Oh, okay, good.
pick it up.
Good. All right. I have. There you go. Okay. Dragon will be sitting on the chair when I need to put it down to mix paints. That is what I figured out.
I like it.
Because with the tail attached, it doesn't quite fit anywhere on my desk.
Yep, it's a thing. So let me get this mixed up and I'll do a little swatch for you so you can see.
Yes, please. I will say, even though we are taking care of Big Dargan, there's quite a bit of time to chat. So if anybody has any questions for us about painting or Idle Champions, if anybody is If anybody is going to be working on their time gates and want suggestions from folks on what to get, go ahead and put those in chat. It helps if you put question in big capital letters, so it's a little easier for me to see, to know for sure that
so it's like a nice
us.
rose pink, like a rosy gray pink, dusky rose. That's the word I'm looking for. A dusky rose.
Dusty rose, fill
Take
this mouth.
Me home. Do 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 do.
See, now I don't feel so bad that I put way too much red on here.
No, it's totally fine. And I'm actually just using an older round brush to kind of dry brush inside the mouth to have a little bit more control. But you can see that makes the tongue a little bit more evident now. And I'm going to do the roof of the mouth. Roop-a-doop-doop.
Come here. Let's brush your tongue.
Right?
Hold you like this.
And then just make sure you do a couple little sweeps at like the grin point of the jaw. This is why we haven't painted the face yet.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's coming together. Yay.
Gargan is giving us the tongue.
Yeah, so now it's not like a bloody red maw. It's more, you know, multi-toned. Just sit you down while I rinse this brush. That takes care of another one where it was like, oh, we got to mix paint. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just hit my microphone if that made a big sound.
We're going to need one of those counters, you know,
Right?
like one of those ding counters for every time
Ding.
one of us accidentally the microphone. It's because it's got to happen.
Oh, absolutely it is.
It's gonna happen. It'll be fun.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
See, I just did it. All right.
Yeah, it's bound to happen. Okay, sit, stay.
Sit, stay.
What are we gonna name these guys?
I don't know, but we'll get suggestions from chat. We've got time.
What's your name? Who are you? Okay, so
What's next?
Next, I think we're going to take care of the throat, belly, and underside of the tail with green ochre, which I know you think is going to look green, but it is actually a very taupey tan. This is from the model color line of Vallejo. Honestly, it's great for like khaki uniforms. I will say that. But this is the color we're going to put onto the underneath the chin, down the throat, down the chest, the belly, and then underneath the tail, which is a lot of real estate. So guess what we're doing for the next hour?
Yep.
Because it's a highly textured section too.
Oh, yeah. It's not on accident. It's meant to be there, but like there's the French as well as the English on mine. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, ochre verde. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Man.
Now this you will want to, at least with mine, we do want to thin this out.
Oh, yeah.
Because mine's coming out kind of almost like toothpaste, which you don't want.
Definitely.
So you want this to be, again, like warm maple syrup consistency. I like a good heavy cream.
Yeah, for something that has green right in the name, it's a very, very, very faint undertone.
Zerbius, am I coming up with the colors, or do I have a source I'm using to reference the colors? What I did is I looked at a variety of images of silver dragons, both official as well as fan art based ones, and taking inspiration from what I was seeing, I came up with a color scheme and where things are going for this. So that's where this has come up with, where I've come up with the paint approach for this one.
We haven't mentioned it in a while, and we've got a bunch of new people who are in our chat. Vee is literally a professional mini painter. And I know there are people who are like, wait, you can do that professionally? Yes.
Yes.
That's literally what she does. You can find tutorials online that she has painted up and shown others how to do awesome paints. So she has a ton of experience and is one of the reasons why she is the master and I am the student. Come here, Dargan. Okay.
I feel like I need to say something about wax now. Wax on, wax off,
Oh,
master
wax.
student.
Okay. I'm like, my
What?
my brain blue screened on that one for sure. Okay. So
Uh,
I'm guessing because of the scales starting at the head and
mm-hmm.
going towards the tail probably makes the most sense.
Yeah, I'm going to start at the head and work my way down. It's
Okay.
honestly the easiest way to do. So, underneath the chinny chin chin, there is a lovely little start point to get this going right here.
Yeah.
So, that's where you want to start it. All right, I'm seeing another question. This one's from Moinulu. How does the painting profession work? Do you take orders and paint them? I take custom commissions. So a client will reach out to me with the concept of what they want to do. Actually, I'm also going to paint this in that little V notch between the two frills, Lauren. Right there.
Okay.
Get it
Oh
started
yes.
there.
Okay.
So what I do is once in a while I will say, because obviously having a full-time job and other things going on, that what is time? But when I have time to take on commissions, I will go onto my socials and be like, commissions are open. People will approach me and basically come up with either, or they share a concept that they have for a mini that they want, or they have a specific mini that they already own and they want painted up. We'll chat about how they want it to look, when they need it, etc., etc. And then I will work on getting that mini either custom created, because I will do kit bashes and builds, or custom painted based on their order. I don't really do like, hey, I'm just going to paint minis and put them up on like a Ko-Fi or eBay or Etsy type of situation. Because I have found that people tend to want hand painted minis for very specific reasons.
Mm.
So that's why I leave it open to commissioned orders as opposed to I just paint them and sell them.
I'd imagine things like either a very specific boss monster or a
Yeah.
character that somebody's playing.
Actually, Chip, are you in the chat by any chance? Sometimes Chip is in their chat. Chip is one of my clients, and I just did recently a very cool order for his campaign where he was using the ACK Incorporated campaign book, and he needed the little Lich Gnome and her Clockwork Bahir for an encounter. And so I custom built the Clockwork Bahir from various miniatures that I had, kind of like Dr. Frankenstein them together. And I had to do a similar thing for the, what was her name? I'm trying to remember what her name was. Lottie. And then for Lottie, I had to take a couple of different miniatures to create her as well. So he had custom build and custom paint in terms of his order.
Yeah,
But
we
yeah,
have a fair
that's
number of lovely people who are lurking and working. I
absolutely.
actually ended up in an interesting conversation with
Oh yeah.
Tanya, aka Cipher
Tanya.
of Tyr, aka the creator behind Celise and
Fen.
Fen, and I was trying to think of the wolf, and I've lost the
Fenris.
wolf's name. Fenris, thank you.
Fenris.
But she was streaming the other day and we were talking about lurkers.
Mm-hmm.
She specifically has a command that comes up every once in a while that is just thanking people who are lurking.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I think the vast majority of the time streams have a ton of people, a significant portion of the population who are watching are lurking, and they lurk for a bunch of different reasons.
Oh yeah.
All of them valid, but it's an interesting thing to see. Like, I think the vast majority of people I know and that we know who stream, we're grateful for lurkers. Like,
Oh
especially
yeah.
an idle game like ours, and where you often have our game on a second screen. I think we have a ton of people who are listening right now. Who are just
Ooh.
listening and every once in a while looking over but not chatting, and that's because they're doing other things at the same time. And I think that's great.
Exactly.
I do a ton of lurking work. Um but apparently there are some streamers who don't like that, and I don't understand why. So we were just talking about how that's one of the reasons that she had that specific
Mm.
command to let people who are lurking know that, hey, we value your
Oh,
you watching just as
absolutely.
much as people who are able to chat in the chat.
Your presence is
Yeah.
appreciated. Participation is not required.
And while that wasn't meant as a hey, if you're listening right now, come in and
Oh
chat,
no.
I do appreciate Nighthawk 78. I'm always lurking. And Admin's Crow, I'd lurk more if I didn't need to remember to refresh the stream between hosts.
Hosts.
Yeah, Twitch is weird
Mm-hmm.
that way. I wish we could figure that bit out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that question. Is there a kind of miniature that clients demand a lot, e.g. dragons? Beholders. I've painted so many beholders.
Yeah, you have a cadre.
It's while I own a good number of dragons, a lot of them are because I get to unbox a lot for WizKids. They send me many, and I love them dearly. I truly am
Yay.
mother of dragons. But I get a lot of beholder orders. Believe it or not, I think order wise, I've had throughout the years about 10. Which yeah, that's my
Hmm,
most repeat style of mini.
interesting.
Well, because a lot of
Yep.
the humanoids that come in are very specific to like an NPC or a PC that's needed.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
yeah. And I think a lot of it also comes into play that the beholder minis are highly sought after. So when people get a hold of them, they want to make sure they get a really nice paint job on them.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, McTribble, I do agree. They say if you yell at lurkers, they don't stick around and the channel tends to not grow. Exactly. Like I don't understand. I think lurking and working is like half of Twitch, and I
Yeah.
appreciate folks the fact that you've tuned into our channel and have it on at all. I appreciate whether you are actively talking in chat or you never say anything in chat. I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you turning us on. I also come from the classical music world where the vast majority of the time my audience isn't making any noise anyway.
Right?
So I don't need them to make noise to for me to not appreciate them. So
Yeah.
uh and yeah, I it was just a fun, interesting conversation, especially about lurking
Mm,
and I'm glad that she's got that command because
it is a good one.
it is.
I think because of the nature of mini painting, I almost expect lurkers.
Yeah.
Um, because well, especially when I was streaming onto my YouTube channel and doing my like lunch break streams and what have you. That I fully expected lurkers because like I'd have music playing in the background. I'd be like, chitter chattering off the cuff, and then sometimes I just go quiet and like groove to the music and paint.
Yeah.
So I didn't expect there to be constant flow of conversation
That makes sense.
because of what the content was. Like video games, I kind of think tend to have more active chatters because some people actively participate in, hey, what about this? And oh, what about that? Depending on the streamer's preference of guidance.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, this is
I've,
definitely a more chill
yeah.
hangout stream. Um just because of its nature.
Yeah.
And frankly, if it wasn't for the lurkin work, I wouldn't be able to support half the streams I do.
Right?
During the workday when I myself am not on stream, and I'm working, I oftentimes have a stream on, either ours or somebody else's, so that I
Yeah.
can listen and support and enjoy. Just that's my that is my background noise of choice, as it were. Um, and so yeah,
Makes sense to me.
yeah. Makayo Kami says, I only really lurk on these non-Idol Champions shows. I can't really pay attention because you guys stream while I'm at work, and I can't have a conversation while replacing an AC or fridge. I mean, that totally makes
That's
sense.
fair.
That 100% makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, I'm gonna be hitting the microphone a lot, I think.
Honestly, it's with the little wingspan we're dealing with. I'm not gonna be surprised if there's a dunk sound every so often.
In order to get this side,
Yeah.
I'm definitely this wing is very, very close to the microphone.
It
So I
is.
apologize in
Yeah.
advance if you hear some gentle thunks
It's all right.
as the wing decides that it needs to
Fly. Flap.
It needs to have a flappy flap.
Mm-hmm.
Not flappy birds, but flappy dragons.
Yeah.
Why has nobody made a version of that game called Flappy Dragons with
Flappy
dragons?
dragons? That'd be cute. Let's play some
Zerberus
Flappy
says, I tend to stream early Sunday mornings and have tons of lurkers as they're doing things around the house and whatnot.
Yeah.
Recently, I had someone in chat complaining I had X number of viewers and no one talking. Why does it bother you if it doesn't bother me? Yeah, exactly. Like, why it shouldn't bother anybody. And Twitch and live streaming have been around long enough that I think people at this point should understand the whole concept of lurking,
Yeah.
or at the very least doing something else while listening to or watching a stream. So
I mean, I honestly, I don't mind at all because there are quite, even like if I'm like out doing something, I like to people watch and just like take in what's happening in the environment around me. So to me, it's like, yeah, go lurk and chill out and just take in what's happening. It's no pressure. You don't have to be part of the chat to be part of the experience, quite frankly.
Exactly.
Don't get me wrong, I love chatting with chat because that's also fun too, but I would never be like, hey, lurker, stop talking more. No.
And yet, I haven't seen a ton because for obvious reasons, I don't hang out in the streams and where this happens. I have definitely been in chats in where what you were talking about earlier, McTribble, of, lurkers getting called out. Like, why? Why would you do that? They're just enjoying and having fun.
Exactly. Quite frankly, if that were happened to me, like I was lurking and so I was like, yo, VMuse, I see you in the chat. Why aren't you saying anything? I'd leave. I would leave.
Yeah.
I'd be like, bye. Nope, bye.
I haven't been where a specific person has been called out, but I've heard about that, about, people looking at the list of people. And that's pretty unforgivable
poor behavior. Yeah.
You do not. Excuse me, Tail. What do you think you're doing?
Participating.
You are not allowed to get under my shirt. No. The tail is getting
I was like,
fresh.
it snuck in, didn't you?
It's starting to. It's definitely starting to. It's like, oh, Lauren isn't paying attention to me.
Oh, funny.
Stop that. Like, what is tail?
Tail. Snicky tail.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get the scales in between the legs on this one side, and they're definitely being.
Yeah.
I know we're doing this in this order to make it easier for painting later, and so if I get like on the other scales, it's not as big of a deal.
Yep, it evens out better. But also, this has some. Looks like I'm playing the trumpet again. This has a lot of height between those plates, so make sure when you're painting, you may have to go back with your paintbrush and catch the edge of the plates because you may have missed it in painting. So just move your mini around a lot because of the various bits of surface area and angles involved in the underbelly of the beast.
Yep. Which is awesome though. Like that's what you want out of a mini. Like if you didn't want texture, then just get an image, get a painting.
Right.
Yadran says, I wouldn't have time to watch any streams if I had to devote my whole attention to
Right?
being an active chatter. Absolutely.
And that's
Uh,
true for a lot of people.
Floops, the tail is looking for a tale to tell. It's trying to tell its own tale, apparently. Okay, okay, all right, fine. Just sit there. Just
Be
it's just gonna
nice,
sit
behave.
right
Yep.
there.
Yep.
Yeah, Zerberus. I've seen streams where people have a welcome message as people come into chat and then the streamers call out their name. And I've heard from a lot of people that they hate that. As Happy Kaiju Stompy Time said, sometimes you want to hang out and lurk and get a feel for the community. Yes.
Yes.
That. Like, back in my day, I'm going to do the I'm old thing.
You're not that
Lurking
old.
in a and not just in streams, just in any online community, the idea of joining a community and lurking for a little while until you kind of get a feel for not just the community but like um the social cues and like all the ways things work, so you're not accidentally, doing something that the community is like, we don't do that here.
Yeah.
That used to be just a normal thing on the internet. That was just an expected thing. You didn't join a chat room and immediately start talking. You kind of hung out for a
Right.
little bit and checked the vibe. And I'm not necessarily saying that has to happen, but like that used to be an expectation. And so it was the idea of getting called as soon as you arrive in a place. Like, that would terrify me.
Right.
That would absolutely terrify me. And every community is different. You know what? If that streamer's community enjoys, that kind of friendliness, then good for them. But yeah, I also know a lot of places that will not join in a chat until they know that there are active moderators.
Yes.
For very obvious reasons. So yeah. All I'm trying to say is we appreciate you.
We like lurkers.
We do.
We
Oh,
like
yeah.
lurkers.
McTribble is reminding us to stretch. Here, I'm going to make the dragon fly.
That's actually a good point. That is a good point. Stretch my wings, I go fly away.
Yeah. Also, being able to lurk places means I can do the thing in where, like, all right, I'm going to be doing work while I am in this stream, but I know for a fact that, like, I'm going to have to jump in and out of a meeting, or I'm going to be doing things where I'm going to have to stop listening and actively watching.
Right.
But it's only going to be a few minutes and then I can go back to having it be more active. I don't want to. So sometimes with those streams and where I know that, like, all right, I'm going to put this on, but I'm probably going to be like back and forth with paying attention. I might not say hi in chat. I might just show up and just be like, okay, I'm
present. Quietly present.
Yep. Just here supporting and listening when I can.
Yeah, there'll be times I log into a friend's stream and I'll say hi in the beginning and I'll be paying attention for a little bit while I have a breather. But then when things pick back up, I honestly just mute and minimize the stream so that they're still getting the viewer count with my presence, but I'm not really there anymore, but it's still my way of sort of supporting and helping them out.
Yep. And then it makes it easier when you do want to jump back in.
Yeah.
And so yes, our chat. We are so happy to have you lurk or active participate or some mix of the two. If you do happen to want, stop poking me. If you do happen to want to enjoy or join chatting and have a question, we are still taking questions. Just put question in big capital letters before your question if you have if you want to ask something about mini painting or dragons.
Sounds like you have a cat today.
That was actually a bird outside. I'm surprised y'all.
No, with the way you're shouting at the dragon. Stop poking me. Like, this feels like me when I'm like lecturing the cat suddenly.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
Dragons and cats, they do have a lot of similarities.
Oh, yes. 100%. I think I'm going to have to add a little bit of water to this paint.
Yeah, I
It's
need to
been
start
sitting on the...
adding water. It's getting a little, even with the wet palette, it's getting a little thick.
Yeah, and I'm just on a paper plate. Okay, go sit on the chair. Sit.
See?
Hey.
See?
Yeah, I'm just going to be talking to this thing. It's just, that's just the going to be the weirdness of this mini.
I'm here for it.
We're going to be having conversations.
I like it. I like it. Aw, see? Lightning Hawk, that sounds heavenly. I'm just sitting here watching y'all paint and listening in while playing Star Trek.
Nice.
Thumbs up, approve. Highly approve. That sounds lovely and relaxing and wonderful to be able to do.
Okay.
Actually, where are my cats?
Come here. Let's pick up where I left off on this side. Okay, I'm glad that the top of the tail is mostly dry, because that would have been
You're already at the tail?
No.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Like,
I'm in the middle. I mean,
okay.
I mean the ridge on the top of the tail.
God.
That we painted
Oh, yes.
gray.
That's why I wanted that done first.
Yeah, because I've already grabbed that several times and been like,
Yep.
oh yeah, that'd be bad if that was still wet.
That would be a problem. See, Kaiser Hotz is doing something similar.
Yep.
Watching y'all paint and listening in while playing Idle Champions and watching something upgrade for work. Very cool.
Oh yeah. I mean, lurking and working and jumping back and forth is the best when I've got to do like
processing stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking specifically some of the videos that I when I've finished making them and I got to export them, and Premiere is like, give me about 7 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Give me about 10 minutes.
But don't do anything else.
Yeah, but don't do anything really processor intensive, or else it'll be, give me 24 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, being able, God,
I always hate it when that happens.
Oh. So yeah, that's the perfect time to be like, now I'm just gonna switch back over to this other tab.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Duval. I'm planning my time gate while watching the stream.
Nice. There you go. Multitasking. Multitasking.
Yeah. I personally don't have Idle Champions running at the moment, but I usually also have Idle Champions running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My computer would be like, yep, that's it. We're done. You've asked too much.
Okay. Get in there.
Oh, all the angles.
Every angle. Yeah, just because it's a bigger mini doesn't mean it makes the angles any easier.
No. Sometimes it almost overcomplicates it because there's more to have to do in an awkward angle.
Yep. And soon, armpits.
Underarm puddles.
Soon we will be doing the armpit fun. Kaiser HOTS. Do we have an estimate of global power usage of Idle Champs?
Oh God.
It actually uses very little power, but it does use a fair bit of processing, a processor, especially if you are running, if you're running and you have a lot of like potions of speed or something.
Yeah.
I don't think the power usage is too bad. I know you were half joking there. But yeah, my computer is trying to export a video and it's complaining at me that it's going to take this long, and I'm like, all right, I guess I'll go offline on my Idle Champs for a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, if I do that.
Edema Scrow is asking, Caddy B, Rust, or Lindra for free time gate. Fairly newish player. Ooh.
I'm very much not impartial on this. And so do you want to answer first?
See, I would say, don't get me wrong, Rust is so much fun, but Rust has stuff going on where it helps to have more of the Ox Venturers with him. So I'm going to say Caddy Bree.
Yeah, that's the honest answer. Alindra is amazing. And I'm not
Yes.
just saying that because she's in Heroes of the Plains where my character is. That being said, what one of the things she's amazing at is she's one of the linchpins to the Heroes of the Plains. So if you have a bunch of those champions, she basically makes all the Heroes of the Plains better.
Yeah.
And while she is still very useful outside of that, or when there's only a couple of Heroes of the Plains, if you're a very newish player,
Yeah.
you are going, V is right, you're gonna get more immediate usage out of Caddy Bree. Um, so yeah. I sorry, Jen.
I know. I know. I'm taking it from the practical
Yeah.
line of fairly newish player, Caddy Bree.
Yep.
The other two
100%.
are great. Honestly, like Rust's ultimate is hysterical.
It's so much fun. It's
Yeah.
so much fun. And once again, there's no wrong answers. You're gonna want to catch them all anyway. So, but for right now, for the newish player, yeah, Caddy Bree. That's a that's a that's a hardcore selection though, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is one of those and where like, oof, you got three good choices. There's uh that is just a strong lineup.
Mm-hmm.
All right, how am I gonna
I would love to say take them all. Like seriously, those are honestly really fun ones. But yeah,
Yeah.
start with Caddy Bree and then keep the other two in mind.
Well, and as you play, while there will be free time gates on a very regular basis, um, yeah, good chillin'. Think bench seats for split the party. Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, as you continue to play, while the free time gates are incredibly helpful, you will also be gaining time gate pieces so that you can open up a time gate whenever you want and grab whatever champion you want.
Yeah.
And so in case it wasn't obvious, because sometimes for new players it is not, but just because you don't pick a champion when they're in a free time gate weekend,
Right.
you're very quickly going to be able to start opening up more time gates and get all those champions you want. So
Exactly. Opportunity will come back up again for sure.
oh yes. And before you know it, you will have more time gate pieces than you know what to do with.
Yeah. I think it's easy to get caught up in sort of a sense of FOMO.
Yes.
When you first start playing, because you have all these options and you think, oh my God, if I don't pick it now, I'm never going to get it. That's never the case.
Yeah.
There are other ways and other options to be able to access those champions.
Yep.
As you play along. So
all the champions are always available. Yep.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is play. But yeah, I mean, the FOMO, I get that. I totally get that. And especially with there being so many champions.
Right.
It just takes a little while, but you'll get there. We all do.
Didn't Mars come up with an estimate about how long, if you played Idle Champions every day, it would take?
I think so, but I
don't remember what he said. But I think
Yeah.
he sat and actually like did the footwork on that one.
Yeah.
I have to remind him. I have to remind myself to ask him again if he recalls.
Adamus Crow says, I think he said about a year.
That sounds about right.
I guess it would depend. Yeah, I think it would depend on how much you
how
play.
often you play. Yeah. That's the part I need to check is how, like, the rate of play.
Yeah. The other thing is to keep in mind is, yeah, there's a ton of champions and there's a ton of other things to do in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, what's your priority? What is the fun for you? Because like the whole game is fun, but everybody kind of has something specific that they like. I really enjoy collecting all of the champions and having all the formations and everything. And so I focus on that above other things. And so maybe my trials skills are not that good, or I still have patron stuff I gotta do.
Right.
Uh, and so if the thing you find fun is collecting the champions, there are things you can do to speed that up. And basically it's like, all right, I'm going to focus on this instead of this other thing. And that's 100% personal preference.
Yeah.
Um, and one of the reasons why I'm not going to get poked in the eye with this tail. One of the reasons why it's good to remind folks that these champions are always available,
Yeah.
and always for free. And so you're never going to lose out on them. So I have played. Shh, don't tell anybody else. I've played some other mobile games. I've played some other idle games, and where that's not the case.
Oh
And
God,
that's
right?
where the
That's
real
it, you're
FOMO
done.
comes
Yeah.
in.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
That's the hardcore FOMO. It's when it's like, all right, if I don't get this now, I'm not getting this at all. It's like,
Yeah. Like
but
honestly, games that do that turn me off so fast I will walk away from a game. Like when
yeah.
Dreamlight Valley changed how they had themselves set up and it turned into a you pay for certain things now. I'm like, oh, I'm done. I was enjoying the game, but I'm done now.
Yeah. It's like, but I enjoy playing this game, but I enjoy playing it for the the characters.
That's just it. I was collecting the characters. I was doing the stuff for the progression, everything like that. And they're like, no, if you want this, you're going to have to pay for this. I'm like, really? I think I'm done. Thank you, but I'm done.
And for us, for the Idle Champions,
Right.
yes, the FOMO is real, but it helps, but is not nearly too bad because it is
Yeah.
that I just can't have it right now,
Yeah.
but they are always available, so that helps a lot.
Yeah.
It's not like when folks are talking about going to like a convention over a weekend that
Yes.
you can't go to.
Yeah.
That's the worst FOMO. Like, all my friends are getting together and having fun.
Yeah, it's real.
But
It's
yeah,
definitely a real one.
as far as Alindra goes, once you start getting the Heroes of the Plains, though, she is super cool, and she comes with Griff, who is the most judgy owl ever, and is adorable, but also the most judgy owl.
Judgy
If
owl.
you ever want to be hardcore judged by a tiny, tiny, tiny little owl, yeah, get Alindra. Griff is so over all of it. Griff was over
true.
everything before we even started adventuring.
I
I
love it.
love that little
That's
guy.
awesome.
The angriest eyebrows. Oh, Clashing Dirk Sloan says favorite dragon remains a red dragon. First one our group took down in 1980 after several fails on
Ooh.
other types. You never forget your first. Yeah,
No,
that's
this is
cool.
true. That is
That's
awesome.
very cool.
That's cool. Mine is a sapphire dragon because it's pretty. It was also like my first big dragon to deal with when I started working WizKids. So that was a near and dear to me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Mine, I'm gonna say a blue dragon. And the reason is because all dragons have hordes. All of them collect stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Blue dragons collect people. And they collect them in a very cool way. And yeah, they don't tend to be very nice about it. But they like the position of power of having people at their beck and call and employ.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have a blue dragon who is essentially just like an employer. They're not necessarily, they haven't kidnapped anybody, they haven't grabbed people. They
Right.
just have employed people, and they enjoy being able to say, I have someone who can do that. I
I know a guy.
that kind of position of power.
Right.
And that makes for a really interesting creature to put into a game, especially if you want to have the experience of your party interacting with a dragon that isn't necessarily good, but isn't necessarily
The foe.
evil,
Yeah. Yeah.
but is super, super powerful. But like blue dragons don't want to destroy everything. They want to own everything so that they can boss people around. They don't want to
Mm-hmm.
kill anyone. They want you to work for them. So yeah, I'm blue dragons from a role-playing standpoint are absolutely my favorite. And I threw one at Distinguished Adventurers for their in our first campaign. There was one that became a fairly major NPC that the party could have dealt with in a multitude of ways.
Ooh.
Everything from attacking and killing it all the way to being essentially its friend. Um and oh yes, enjoy Zerberus complete lurk mode. I like that. Have a good weekend.
Yes, that's good.
That was very good.
So just a heads up, this kind of trails off oddly.
Yeah, I was just thinking I'm gonna have to get a different brush. This brush
Yeah.
is too big for the tip of this
It does
tail.
this taper off thing at the very, very tip of the tail.
Yep.
So I want to make sure you see that. Bye, Zerbius.
I may actually have to get a small brush. I've definitely reached that point. But yeah, blue dragons are my favorite
Yeah,
to throw at
that's
people.
fun.
Anytime I can make my D&D group say he's out of line but he's not wrong, then I know that I've done good in
Yep.
coming up with a antagonistic ish.
Yep.
Not a BBG, but an antagonist.
Voronika. That's why I loved playing her.
Voronika is an excellent example of
She will leave people questioning where they stand.
Yep. It's like she's doing the right thing. She's not asking us to do anything that we wouldn't do, that we're morally opposed to, and but this all feels a little yep.
But what if?
Yeah.
What if? Imagine if. All right.
Okay. It is time to grab a smaller.
Isn't it though?
I'm almost done.
I'm almost done. I'm just literally like my brush was starting to dry a little bit, so I needed to clean it and then get back to a couple of little points that need just a little.
Oh yeah, I haven't even gotten to the look down the belly looking for spots I missed yet. I just all right. Do I have? I think I'm gonna have to just grab a smaller brush.
Thank you, Happy Kaiju Stompy Time. I'm glad you enjoyed Black Dice Society.
That was such a fun show.
Oh my god.
There we go. Tiny little brush time. Okay. Come here, dragon.
Dargan! Dargan. My darling Dargan.
I guess this way works. Okay. Nope, that's not gonna work. How about this? This way. Sure.
This way and that way. That way, this way.
It's like, how do I want to hold this that puts the tail in my comfy line of sight, but also isn't poking me, but then also, I've got it firmly held as I've gotten to small bits.
This is definitely, you're going to complete this and then have to go back and look at points where it's drying and like just do some touch-up work.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the nature of the texture of these. Yeah.
And I'll grab a medium brush for that.
There you go. Absolutely.
I knew when we decided to do this dragon, I'm like, okay, it's mostly going to be big brushes, but I'm going to need a couple small ones.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's no way around it.
And I was thinking, yeah, and to be honest, I was thinking more about like mouth and eyes and toes and things like that. But I mean, right here is prime example.
I I'm all sorts of looking for things where I normally put them, and it's not there. Trying to dip in my water next to me, like, that's my palette. What happened? Okay. I think I'm at a good... Nope, I lied. There's another piece. There's another little bit I missed right under the chin.
Ah, well, that'll get covered up later. Actually, let me.
There we go.
Clean water. See if I can.
Do do do.
There we go. Oh, Zed proxy. Yes. The whole which one is my drinking water, which one is my stick my brush in it to clean it off water. Yeah. I've mostly been able to avoid it, but I know it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Only a matter of time before I grab the wrong glass. Or actually, I don't think I'm going to drink out of the wrong glass. I think what's going to happen is my brush is going to go into the wrong glass.
I've done that. What's gonna happen. I have absolutely done that. Suddenly my coffee is red.
I
don't recommend that.
Spicy coffee.
This is an interesting coffee. Lord.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're going to do this and use this as the homework split. Based on our time. I'm looking at what the next step makes logically as the most sense.
Yeah.
To work on.
Just lost my light. Hey. Hello.
Oh, no.
Light.
What's back?
Why did my light go off?
Why my life? That's what I'm saying.
All right. Dragon, go sit. Stop playing with the cord and go sit.
Sit down, baby.
Sit. Stay. I was going to have to do that anyway.
So now what we're going to do, and this is where we're going to turn this into homework. Okay. Because I know we're not going to finish this off. We're going to jump to somber gray.
I'm just trying to fix my light.
Hi. As Rory is licking my ankle. That felt weird. Good Lord. So we're going to jump into somber gray. This is from the game color line from Vallejo. And we're going to thin this out. Again, you want it to be that consistency. Oh, hi. Come here. The consistency of warm maple syrup or thick, heavy cream type of deal. And this is what the color of the body is going to be. So when I say the body, basically all the other scale areas that we haven't covered yet on the body itself, it's also going to include this arm section on the wing, front and back. So body, including head, and then basically the arm of the wing will go up here. I'm debating, do we want to?
While you're thinking, I'm going to finish up hunting for spots I missed.
Cool.
Now that I got my light fixed and I can see what's going on.
All right. And actually, I want my belly to dry a little bit more before I start painting. And Rory is demanding attention. Hello, young lady.
Everybody say hi to the kitty.
This is Rora. Say hi to the world, Rory, like you like to do. What do you think? Yeah? You being sweet? You being my dragon? You're my dragon. I always love when chat's like, kitty! Yes. Kitty!
Yep.
Especially this one.
It is the weekly. Although at this point it's going to be bi-weekly. The bi-weekly kitty. Right?
I like when I can tell they've been sitting in one of the windows upstairs where the sun is right now. She smells like sunshine and fresh air. You smell so pretty, baby. All right, so I'm going to get a little bit of this started so people can see what I am talking about. But this will turn into the homework. What doesn't get done today, oh God, this is truly like toothpaste. What doesn't get done today, we need to work on for when we meet back, is how this is going to be.
And I will I will post my progress next week to kind of
There
remind
we go.
everybody, like, hey, have you done your Dargan homework?
Remember? Your summer.
Remember you got Dargan homework.
Summer assignment.
This is why we get to do the Dargan, because otherwise next
it's
week
not gonna happen.
Yeah. Otherwise it would literally just be a 2-hour stream of us doing the exact same thing for 2 hours,
Yeah.
which
For
you know what?
months in a row.
For all of you, we were talking about lurking and working. That'd be a fun, put on some tunes
Right.
and lurk in your favorite stream and work on a Dargan. But for those of us on the stream, it's a little harder to do.
It is. It
So
gets a little tedious.
yeah. Okay. 1 or 2 more little spots here, and I'll be finally done with the underbelly.
Yay.
I probably will find other spots, but I'm confident, at least at this point, that they will be tiny. Okay.
There you go. And I just had a hiccup. Got started and hiccuped right away. Dang it. Thankfully.
You dragon wings that fit a kitty.
I have dragon wings that fit a kitty.
Oh.
Thanks to
Do
Bill the
your
Bear.
cats tolerate
God, no.
costumes? Okay.
Absolutely not. No. I did have a cat when I was a teenager. His name was Butterscotch. He was tipping the scale at 20-ish pounds. He would wear doll clothes. Like, he would love to wear, because I had clothes from like leftover from when I had like dolls as a little girl. So I had this one doll from, the 80s doll. They had their various things, Cabbage Patch Kids. I had this Cabbage Patch Kid outfit that he would wear. It was like a sweatshirt. And he would trundle around walking like a bulldog, but he loved wearing the sweatshirt. It was hysterical.
Aww.
So I have had a cat who wouldn't mind wearing clothes, but the current collection of a clouder that I have right now, absolutely not. You put a harness on them and they don't know what to do, and they like flop over like, help me, mother.
but remind me again, which gray am I supposed to be grabbing?
Somber
gray. Okay.
Somber gray. Yep.
Right. Oh, you're so somber.
Right? Why so sad?
Why so somber? That does remind me. I don't know why it reminds me, because the Lego building stream is lots of fun and not somber at all. But after us is the D&D Lego stream that Sean is putting together, the entire Lego D&D tavern. And so make sure you stick around, as that will close out this week. And then next week is a kind of a weird week because of the beginning of the week is Canada Day, the end of the week is America Day, and the middle is the launch of Founders Day. So it's
the week of days.
It is there's so many days going on. It's all the days.
Right.
So with the exception of Wednesday and a little bit of Thursday, Tuesday and Friday especially are a lot lighter when it comes to streams. There still are going to be some. And the Wednesday has a nice good chunky block, but a bunch of streams are off next week because of all the days.
Yep.
Okay. Arms.
Paint and Slay being one of those, so we will not be on next Friday.
Where exactly did you begin with your... Okay, so you began at the top of the head.
Top of the head, yeah.
Okay. I'm trying
Figured that was a good one to start with to show, because the head has a few more finicky points on it. So you definitely want to be sure you're using a smaller brush on this, which I did not do to begin with, and I had regrets.
Okay. And that's basically everywhere on the head that we didn't paint frills and horns and stuff?
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
I was listening, but I was also frantically trying to get my light to work, and so a bunch of that went out of my brain.
Totally okay.
And we did get a question from Zed Proxy. Are you doing the dragons in NMM?
Non-metallic metallic. No, I'm not doing non-metallic metallic. that is a very high detail, high professional level of things, and I like to keep paint and slay at an intermediate to beginning level of approach. So we're using metallic paints along with it.
Okay. Thank you for figuring out what that meant, because I'm like, Neverwinter Nights. No. Not. I just could not come up with what
Yeah.
NNM meant.
Non-metallic metallic. It's basically you use non-metallic paints to create a metal effect, which we have done in the past with Modrons.
Yes.
We did do that, but this is such a grand scale of a miniature. And like I said, I like to keep it more intermediate to beginning. So no, we're gonna incorporate some cool metallic paints, so, and not just do all silver all over it. That's not the plan. We have some varying tones.
Well, and especially since this is such a big mini, it would be a fairly big investment. It's already a fairly big investment. So to add on to that much metallic paint, like the stuff that we bought specifically for this mini, it's all paint we're going to use in tons of other minis.
Right.
But like getting that much and specifically a metallic that would be not used as often, that'd be cool, but
yeah, I wouldn't recommend painting anything metallic and all metallic to get going. So yeah. It makes the creature look plastic when you just do straight up metallics. Like, oh, I'm just using metallic to paint it. That's why I like to use metallics for dry brushing or highlighting as opposed to just paint it this color.
Mm-hmm. I do love metallics though. Whenever we can pull out a couple of the metallics that are in the set or use the metal medium on stuff, like but it's fun because it is those kinds of touches.
Yeah.
Little goes a long way.
Ooh. Okay.
You okay?
Thankfully, yes, the tail just hit the keyboard and I'm like, well, let's see what that just did. Thankfully, nothing happened. I had a moment of like, well, I go through this with Rory all the time. Let's see what the Dargon decides it wants to do with my keyboard.
Yeah. Oh, geesh, I love your username, but you've given me a challenge. Because of
It's a Swedish chef.
I love it so much. It's one of those times less is more, is what they said. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally agree. And I'm not making fun, but you know what you did. I also love that
for the chaos.
Oh yeah. I also love that we are painting this Dargon, and with the exception of the very first paint that we used, like this is a kind of silverish gray, you know. Yeah. But like I think people just assume that silver sheen and don't think about all the different colors that make it a full 3D creature. Right. And so it's fun to be at this point of a silver dragon and be like, yes, it's silver. See? Even though it's going to get there.
Yeah, it will. It absolutely will.
Okay. I'm just going to hug this wing, I guess. That's just the way this is going to work.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, Scrub, you decided to roll your face from left to right on the keyboard. I mean, we already talked about how dragons are basically just giant cats. Right. So the fact that your dragon almost just put a bunch of gibberish into chat, I think is incredibly indicative of a cat.
All right, so that takes care of the head.
I've got one side of the face done. I'm just taking a look at where
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Totally understand.
Okay.
And then it's going to be working underneath these frills and bringing the somber gray back down the body. And that's going to take a while.
Yep.
In fact, I don't even know if I'm going to get that started right now because I just realized what the time is. We're starting to get a little bit short on it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll start. As I hit myself in the face with the tail.
Oh, no.
It's fine. It's all fine.
No injuring yourself. Not this
Luckily, I
close
didn't
to the
injure.
end. Yeah, we only have about 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
All right, Chin, come here.
Not by the scale of his chinny chin chin.
God, for a second, I thought you were going to say
Oh,
chinchilla chin chin for some reason, and I don't know
Chinchilla chin
why.
chin. Yeah.
Chinny chilla chin. Wait, what? Okay.
Chinchilla.
I'm going to see if I can get the rest of the head done before we've got to go.
Right. Don't injure myself before the days. Right? Miles to go before I sleep here, folks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, how am I going to approach you? Because angles are fun. Yes, this is very slow and steady.
But fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still very excited that we finally get to paint a dragon. I mean, a big dragon. We did that green. We did that
Yeah, we've
green
done
one.
the
That green
green
was
and we've done the
super
black.
fun.
The green, the black. So we've tackled those two.
Yeah, but a big chunker like this.
Oh goodness, yeah. Draco Lich Wen. Do they have one out as a UPM?
That is a good question. That could definitely be interesting if we
That would be
ever
fun, yeah.
want to get back into Dargan. Doing a Dracolich would be a different challenge for sure. Bless you.
I think it's safe to say after this guy, I'm going to humbly request we take a break from dragons.
Oh, yeah. Hey, like I said, this one took us an entire year before we finally said yes to it, so.
And again, it's because the schedule kind of lined itself up perfectly for what we were realizing we needed. Time-wise.
And a Dracolich, well, it would be a fun, different challenge than the regular dragons. There's no small Dracoliches.
No, they're all a good. They're adult size that I can, from what I can recall.
Yeah.
In terms of what, well, I'm speaking from what WizKids has available right now. But again, I don't even know if they have a unpainted mini when I'm saying UPM. That's what I mean. I don't know if they have it in the UPM form yet or not either. Because I have the blue and I have the green Dracolich minis. And they're cool as anything. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't remember if it's shifted over to paint it yourself version yet.
Yeah. But yeah, even in the game proper,
yeah,
Dracoliches, because I think they're adult and ancient, but there's no young Dracoliches.
No.
There's no you don't get to be a Dracolich when you're young. You have to at least be an adult, I think, before you can start liching it up.
Right? Okay. I think we're at a good point to stop. The homework is going to be is basically keep putting the somber gray onto the rest of the body. Don't forget the body includes these arm bits here in the wings. So basically the talons here at the top, the pad here of flesh, and then through here. These bits are going to be part of the leathery flesh part, okay? So just the center here, that gets the same somber gray. And that's going to be your homework over the next couple of weeks. Get that area done. And we will come back to this July 12th and keep going. Okay?
Yeah.
That's the plan here. And then don't forget, I'm just going to quickly go through things here. We have
Yep, while you
just
do that, I'll
announced.
finish the face.
Yeah, figured. We have just announced our 2 new champions coming next Wednesday. That is July 3rd. We have Aeon, as pictured here, as well as Umberto, who is standing right next to Aeon there. The two of them
Yay!
are joining us for Founders Day, and Aeon was created by B. Dave Walters, who y'all might know quite well, and Umberto was created by the lovely Gail Simone, who you also might know, especially for those of you who are a fan of comics. And speaking of comics, don't forget we had happening this week was this fantastic promo story reveal, Peril at the Greenhouse. And we have some cool comics that went along with it. And I'm purposely cycling these through fast because you have to go and check that out. If you want to see all of the things that I'm talking about right now, just go to Idle Champions /Founders Day. Okay, go to that link and it'll have everything linked here for you, from the Spotlight blogs to the Spotlight videos to the promo story pieces and everything like that. It's all about Aeon and Umberto this week for their launch next week. And yes, Zed Proxy, seriously, Gail joined us and jumped in. It was lovely.
I just saw that in chat. I'm glad that you saw that too, because that excitement is infectious and I love it.
It is. And then we also are steering directly into a weekend right now, and it's a Ceramorphosis weekend. I'm just being silly. And with that, you will get a free gold Ceramorphosis chest if you have signed up for the newsletter. If you haven't signed up for the newsletter, I suggest you do. Every Friday around 12 p.m.ish and on Pacific time, you'll start to see these newsletters appearing in your inbox where we give you what the weekend theme is, as well as a lovely chest full of free goodies for you to put to use for that weekend. And when you sign up for the newsletter, you will also get an unlock for Hitch. And basically, anytime we send you a newsletter, there's going to be something free. Sometimes we use those for an important update, but we also make sure, hey, thanks for reading the update. Here is something for you too. So do be sure to check that out. And I think that pretty much takes care of everything we have going on today. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Lauren and I very much enjoyed reading your comments.
Yes,
literally as I'm reading a comment.
That's why it does explain the bear. Absolutely.
We will see you July 12th. Make sure you stick around because coming up right after this is the Lego build where we'll all click together. Yes, I went there. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.